What is good? It is June 30th, 2024. It is 5 p.m. It's Council of Comics, and it's time for film and box office news. Happy Hunger Games. May the odds be forever in your favor.
Finally, I hope you noticed we have a serious situation.
The brightest day. Where are the heroes? Soon as they get here, everything will be alright. I need a hero. Someone superhuman who can come and save my life. Crisis after crisis, annihilation.
What is good, Council of Comics? Welcome to the Film and Box Office News Live Podcast, episode number 93 on this beautiful Sunday, June 30th, 2024. Remember, if you are not liked and subscribed, please do that right now. And as always with me, the loyal council, C. Bizzle, Phil, Green Shirt Guy, Cliff, and our special guest, Kamaria, for this special Hunger Games edition of Film and Box Office News. All right, so first thing I want to do is tell you to subscribe. I did all that. Now, we give you a chance to win one duck every Sunday. One duck. So you get focused on it, and we get as many people in to get a duck as possible. So this time, to give you a question, you're going to answer it in the comments with your hashtag, all right? So the question for this week is... what district is Rue from? Is Rue from District 3, District 7, District 11, or District 14? We're not going to say what it is. We might mention it throughout the podcast, but we're not going to be like, that's the hashtag, everybody. You're just going to have to ride with it and put it in the comments.
Just text me and I'll tell you.
And I'm going to leave it at the bottom so you guys can...
shout it right now?
What was that?
Do you know how hard it is for me not to shout it out right now?
Please
You know
don't.
what?
Please don't.
You don't want to rule the day.
Oh.
I am a dad, so I'm allowed to say dad jokes.
One quick funny thing. Every time she came up in the Hunger Games, I was like, she's a Sith. Don't trust her.
Every time she came up in the Hunger Games, all I could think is like, wow, her acting is so great here.
Oh, well, don't worry, Cliff. We have an acolyte section. Don't worry. We have an acolyte section. All right, let me get into the announcements, and then we can get right into the show. Young at Heart Foundation is a great organization run by our good friend Mike out in California. They do great things for kids that are awaiting medical procedures out there. Two ways you can help this organization. You go to the website youngatheartfoundation.com and you can register to become a donor for Donate at Life America. More than 100,000 people are awaiting a life-saving transplant, and you can register by clicking this button right here to become a donor. Second way to help, you can sponsor a Hope Kit, 100% tax deductible. We'll take all the funds together to make this great gift box.
Turn the music down.
Is it too loud?
Yeah, because you're cutting out. That's what you sound like.
How about now?
Much better.
Does that sound better? All right.
Much better.
Sponsor a Hope Kit that's 100% tax deductible. They'll take all the funds together and they will create these great gift boxes for them. If you have another way that you want to help, just give Mike a call at 323-396-9998 or email him at info@youngatheartfoundation.com. Alternativerse, this is our home away from home in Hyde Park, New York. The address is 870 Violet Avenue, Hyde Park, New York. It's owned by a great friend, Anthony. He is also part of the Council of Comics. And Anthony has comics, cards, and toys. They offer the Hudson Valley's best selection of comics. Every comic is bagged and boarded. He also has a special out there for any of you guys out there that don't have a local comic book shop, a local LCS where you can get. Oh, what happened? What's this? Let's do that. Where you can get 10% off of all your books on a pull list. You just give Anthony a call at 845-233-4234 or email him at alternaverse2@aol.com and let him know that you want to start a pull list with him. You want that discount. Let him know you got your the council sent you. They also do card tournaments on the weekends, Lorcana, Pokemon, Magic. Just give Anthony a call and he'll let you know when those events occur. On the YouTubes, Council of Comics went past 875. It's one of those milestone issues. We're at 877 now on our way to 900. Please like and subscribe if you have not done so yet. The comic book pickups have been picking up. A lot of people are watching the comic book pickups. I'm very happy about that because I got a lot of comic book pickups to do. You can also see skits and pics, shorter version of New Comic Book Day Live. We also have Phil's Place on there, Council Conversations, tons of other playlists. On Sundays, we go just like today, live, 5 p.m., 2 p.m. Pacific, film and box office news. On Mondays, 8 p.m., 5 p.m. Pacific for new keys and hot comics of the week. And on Wednesdays, 8 p.m., 5 p.m. Pacific for a new comic book day live full of skits and our picks and lots of fun. Please like and subscribe. Next up, Cliff on Comics is at 7:55. Cliff, you're up.
Cliff on Comics, the home of coffee and comics with Cliff. Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Look forward to next week. 22 is my guest. The following week, we're going to have Scotty Vaughn. And the week after that, it'll be Super Slabs. I've got a very full July coming up. It's looking forward to it. So see you then.
Excellent. Make sure you like and subscribe to Cliff on Comics. We also have Couching and Slouching with C Bizzle. He's at 414.
Yes, sir. So if you go to my channel, you'll see a ton of unboxings. I'm surprised I got a voice right now. I shot like 4 or 5 videos just today. They will be on my channel all this week and next week. I'm also going to be a guest on Izzy's show tomorrow. He want me to be a guest host, so I'm going to be a guest host on his show. But better yet, you always can catch me here with these great, lovable gentlemen at the Council of Comics on Sundays, Mondays, and Wednesdays. If anybody on my channel is watching right now, please sub these guys up. Let's get them to 900. If you see, also, let's get Cliff up to 800. He's a great person in the YouTube community. So come check all of us out and have a great time.
Yes, let's get C Bizzle to 500, that next milestone. And we're also part of this wonderful Sunday legendary lineup at 9:45. It's with Breakfast with Brian. He had episode 124 today.
Those
Then at
hash browns look good.
Oh, they look good, especially that ketchup over there too. Dipping in that ketchup, good,
Yes,
good.
sir.
A little mustard in there. Comic Book Church at 10:45 a.m. 4 p.m. was the Sunday Sort, of course. Council of Comics, 5 p.m. right here. Then right after us at 6 p.m. is the Sunday Sesh. 7 p.m. we have Kicking It with K-Pop. 8:30 at Week's End with Legion of Comics, and then 10 p.m. Trev, the Shipping Guru, and Evils Comics. Make sure you check out the Sunday legendary lineup. All great channels so you can enjoy your beautiful Sunday. All right, ladies and gentlemen, shall we start the festivities with some fireworks, firecrackers, as we will. And all I gotta do is just show this, and the firecrackers shall begin. It's the Acolyte, episode number 5, called Night. Who has not seen this episode? Okay, it's C Bizzle. All right.
Yeah,
So
me.
we got 5 out of 6 here.
Yes.
I'll just, I'll say my piece and then I'll just let it run wild how it's gonna run. But I thought this was a great episode.
I agree.
I thought everything about it, just the fact that the way they fought, the choreography was great. His lines that the Khmer was giving to Soul, like there's some hidden stuff there, some mystery stuff there that we don't know about. Obviously Khmer knows who Soul is, but Soul just can't really remember who he is, but it's something familiar. Rest in peace to Jackie. Rest in peace to Yord. I thought Yord was I thought Yord was gonna be a deeper, darker character.
Nah,
When
he
they killed
sucked.
him,
He
I
can
was
go.
like, yo, they just killed Yord. What's going on?
He can go.
He went out kind of chumpish too. Like
He
it was
did.
Chump to begin with, so of course he went out.
like somebody went out in the Hunger Games the same exact way.
Yeah.
It was like
get the honor of a life.
that was one of the things that I was kind of like, man, that is so disappointing because we've seen that like move like in like a million other movies, and like if you wanted to make it like that much better, it would have been cool if he just did that move with like the Force and took him out that way. And that's one of the like my complaints about it is the like the inconsistent use of their powers and like what a lightsaber could cut through and.
But don't they explain that though? Remember, Yord says his method is like unorthodox. You don't know what he's gonna do next.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's cool. But like you could still like be like you know like think about it like he throws his lightsaber across the thing and nobody could like force grab that lightsaber out the sky,
Well,
but
yeah,
they
but
could
it
like
was
grab
dope,
him off
though.
the ground with the force.
Forget that.
Like the
though.
two
It was
two
dope,
chicks
though,
had like a really cool fight and all, and it looked cool. But like she never uses her force push until like she's up against her sister, and then like that power would have been convenient like 20 minutes ago when you just never pulled it.
Yeah,
So like
but you get that dope thing where Saul hits the lightsaber back at him.
yeah,
I
but
mean, it
like
looks
that's
sweet
what I
as
mean.
hell.
They went for it looks cool and not like a quite consistently cooling like thoughtful fight is I guess. Like you know what I said after Ahsoka that I needed them to watch like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon to see what like a girl fight should look like with like swords and stuff. And it's like they did it for this episode. And now I need you to watch like Demon Slayer or Naruto or Dragon Ball Z, where we're consistently getting our butts kicked to find like the real true weakness and then use it. And here they're very inconsistent. Like they made a whole point of like you can't sneak up behind the guy until she sneaks up behind the guy. You know, like they made a whole like there again, she plants a thing and like he can't force push those bugs off. Like they're inconsistent like that. So write your fights.
That was my one complaint. I'll give you that. When he gets carried off by about 4 or 5, I'm like, well, wait a minute. He's just been fighting like 6 Jedi, but then these bugs all jump on him. Like, I'll let.
Other than that, like
focus
you know,
on
the
what I got.
choreography did look good and stuff. It's just like I think you need to be a little more consistent with like your powers and how to like counteract them and not using them to cover your.
I mean, I guess
taken rating opponents.
my pushback a little bit would be that he's a Sith or whatever they're calling him in this one. Because I don't even know if he's technically a Sith. Did he say he was a Sith? I can't remember.
He said his exact
Something
words
like a
were
Sith,
the
right?
Jedi like you would call me a Sith.
Although
That doesn't necessarily mean that
right,
he's a
not
Sith.
saying he's a Sith. So he's
Yeah.
using the dark side of the Force, and we've heard
Yeah.
multiple times that the dark side is not unknowable, but it's hard to predict. You can't read it if you're a light side user. So the fact that they're confused by his tactics all the time is not that surprising. But yeah, that where he kills the one apprentice though with the 3 stabs was friggin' dope. I'm sorry, that looked dope.
She's in the back to tank next week. So.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that'd be horrible if that was true.
And how about when he's holding Osha, or not Osha, he's holding May when she turns on him, he's just holding the lightsaber up to her head. I was like, yeah, that's pretty sweet. Instead of just, yeah.
You know, there again, like
When he got carried away by those bugs, I thought of Tracker Jackers in the Hunger Games, which we'll see momentarily.
Cliff, you're kind of quiet over there. You got anything to say about the
all right,
acolyte?
Cliff, let's get it, Cliff.
No, Phil did a lot of the heavy lifting, which was lovely, And then what is this guy's name? Kamir? Is that his name?
Kamir.
You're right. And
Or
he's
the stranger.
like, yeah, he's just like Jedi, like you might call me Sith. I'm like, okay, great, that's nice.
Yeah,
But
the dialogue there was a little cheap.
Yeah, I was like that. It was a great fight episode. So props to choreography. That's great. We still don't know much about Dylan, and I don't know. And and it was like very predictable. I was like, yes, of course, review. But I do love me some Manny Jacinto. So we got to see him
So
looking
do
good.
I. What a stark contrast from his character in The Good Place.
I know, right? Such a contrast. So, like, loving him getting to play a villain, loving him being a big, sexy villain. That was great. Great choreography. So yeah, it was nice. I still can't get on board with what story this is supposed to be telling us, but okay.
3 more episodes. 3 more episodes to go.
I mean, if I had any complaints about this episode in particular was where she does a little lean over and then slices off the hair. I'm like, really? Whatever.
I was like,
It
the
looked-
way that would be uneven.
Well, forget it. It
They
just looked chunky. Like,
themselves,
there's
that would
other
not be-
ways to do that. So I'm like, whatever. And because she's trying to make herself look like her sister. So now we're on that plot. And I'm just hoping with 3 episodes to go that's not the only major lightsaber battle we have in this.
Me
that
either.
We're gonna
I hope
have
it's
more
more.
at some point, and that's not
Yeah.
like the big crescendo, and the rest of it's just espionage. But who knows?
And what were the odds that I don't remember what show we were watching. I don't know if it was The Boys or what we watched, but there was like a double in that show. It was like happened twice in 1 week. What show was that? Like with the when May cut her
You
hair.
were watching Vignettes del Council.
When May cut her hair to look like OSHA, there was another show that we just watched and their new episode that same week that did the same thing.
With like twins and stuff.
Yeah.
Who was
Was it The Boys where the guy splits himself and he had
Oh
like
yeah.
human
There's that one.
centipede
No.
going on?
Not thinking of that.
'Cause I watched that episode today. I watched the second episode of The Boys, and yep, they had the human centipede going on in the bathroom.
Oh, it's horrible. Boys is a great show.
Eventually. Also, justice for Jackie.
Jackie was good. I thought she went out too early, but
I
That's what-
agree. I wanted to
that's
see
what gives the
What's the
Hold
medal?
on.
He's using that shorts out the lightsabers. What
Yeah,
is that?
I did not care for Jackie. I don't think I cared for any of these characters. I was like, oh, you're all red shirts. It's finally happening.
They
I
are,
was fine with all
yeah. They
the
were a
ones
little
that
bit
got
like red shirtish at the like. And I thought like her martial arts battle, because that's kind of what it was kind of like very reminiscent of like a Jackie Chan Jet Li thing when you
Yeah, they
have
were
like
brawling.
one arm that you cannot use, and it was like right out of that. So I've watched a lot of martial arts movies, guys. So
That's all right. I have in my time, but it's been.
I mean,
I thought-
listen,
I thought it
I'm-
was a great acting moment when she was arresting her, like trying to put the cuffs on her, and then she was like, "For the murder of this and the murder of that and the murder." I was like, "Oh, get her, Jackie, get her." Yeah. So overall, good.
overall, it was good. Overall, I still enjoyed it. Like, yeah, I was a little critical on like I said, like your fighting could be like write it tight. Like that's just
Yeah.
it. Like write your fighting and combat
Well,
tight.
let's see how they tighten it up. That's the headline, ladies and gentlemen. Did anybody watch this?
Yes.
What's that? The Boys? I watched the
Oh
second
my
episode, so I'm behind
goodness.
like a
Oh
few
my
still.
gosh.
This
Yeah, the second episode I watched this
The
morning.
Boys is wild.
I
The Boys is wild.
that is not the direction I was expecting that episode to take.
Yep.
Terrifying. That's terrifying, is what it
terrifying.
is.
They
What-
did a great job of
what-
it being terrifying, that's for sure.
Starting to see like Homelander's ready to take over. Like he's not even about this whole society. His speech at the end, he's just like, yeah, we're gonna have to do something different here and take this over. I like the way, not like what he did, but I like how he convinces his son to like I don't want to spoil it for like Phil and them, but like
Abuse his power in the name of doing
yeah,
the
yeah,
Yeah.
The way he
it's very
does it-
subtle.
Yeah, the way he does, I just feel so bad for that kid because I see it coming. I see it
Well, I predicted that kid's gonna be the one that kills Homelander at the end of the series. He'll be the one to kill. That'll be sad. But
or the Homelander kills him.
oh
Yes.
wow, that would be the Boys, wouldn't it?
Yep.
coming.
Oh my goodness! Like he's
I
like,
mean, listen,
tired
I
of you.
still remember how the comic book ends, and although it's not going to be the same thing, it's still lurking out there.
oh
Yep.
my goodness, the Boys. All right, yeah, Boys was great. Anything anybody else see this week?
Oh,
I
Presumed
went.
Innocent is still great if you're not haven't been watching that.
I went to see
Really?
Bad Boys. Bad Boys 4.
Ooh.
Oh, how
Yeah.
was it?
And
The movie was good, but the villain is just a generic villain. Like you could put any actor, any person. I could have played the villain in this movie. That's the only problem I have with this whole film. But the action was great. Will was great. Martin was great. It was some fun, quite a bit of funny moments in the whole movie. It's just I hated the villain. It's just like some random former soldier pissed off. A former soldier that works for the cartel and didn't want to get the secrets out about the cartel that the government, United States government, was working with them. And that's all. That's basically all it was. Like it was, and even his henchman was a generic muscle guy. You could have got any WWE wrestler to play either one of these characters.
I was gonna say you're making Thor: The Dark World's Dark Elf villain sound real good right now.
I like Thor: The
Oh,
Dark World. I
yeah.
know a lot of people don't like that movie. I like that
I love that movie.
because I'm
I like
a
that.
big fan of Malekith. I think he's a great villain.
Yeah,
So to see him on
Malekith.
screen was awesome.
Yeah.
No,
same.
my only problem with Thor: The Dark World is Malekith is a terrible villain, like so overshadowed by literally everything else going on in the movie.
I can see that.
I thought the ending was a little.
But I do
more.
recommend Bad Boys. I gave it a solid 7.5 out of 10. So I do recommend it.
Does it deserve one? Because they're making another one.
It does if they get a proper villain. I'll also say this: it is definitely a DVD buy if they ever come out with a DVD of it, because you know how they trying to get rid of the physical media.
Okay. All right. Anybody watching anything else?
Except Presumed Innocent, still very good.
All right.
On
Yes,
Apple
I gotta
TV.
check that one out. Yeah,
Good.
I watched not the new one, the first Inside Out, because I had never seen it.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
You know, the projector does my projector does like the 3D. I got the glasses for it, so I did get to
Oh,
watch
wow.
it in 3D.
Right on.
Wow.
Very nice.
Nice.
So good. I actually want to see the second one.
I want to
Second
see the
one's
second one now.
Second one's good.
And speaking of before we do that, let's give a
Let's
shout out
see,
to everybody.
does it keep it or does it go to A Quiet Place?
We'll see in about a second.
I
Les
wanna
Cruz
see
says
that.
1971. Thank you for being in the house. Brian LCS is in the house. Thank you for being here. Meatwad number 1. Thank you for being here. Strange Dog Comic Stuff says hello. Gary Wood says hello, panel as well. Random Rips is in the house. Thank you for being here. Phil's Treehouse is here. Thank you for being here. Kenneth Bird is in the house. Kenneth says, I'm still here for all my friends are on the panel tonight. I hope everybody will have a wonderful day and night with all the loved ones, and I always support everybody's on the panel tonight. Thank you, Kenneth Bird. It's much, much appreciated. Larry Jackson is in the house and said, listen, if the Sith wasn't around for 1,000 years, how are they in the show? No. This is where they get the lore wrong. The Sith have always been around. It's just that they've been hidden for the 1,000 years.
And or like he says in it, you would call me a Sith. Maybe they weren't called the Sith before.
Good point.
I think it's just a different group because the Sith go back to Bane, who's all the way back then, and they've
I'm just
always
saying it could be
in
it
the
could have
lore
been
they've
another
always
name,
been
it
in
could
the
have been
shadows.
That whatever.
There is like a line in like where like the Sith haven't been like uncovered for 1,000 years. Yeah.
Right, but that doesn't mean they haven't been manipulating things
Right.
the
But
whole
he did
time.
kind of blow up like you would call me a Sith. He did kind of say that. Like he got some
We'll
little
see.
bit
They need to explain some stuff, so we'll let them explain.
Maybe everyone dies before they're able to document the truth.
Maybe.
Oh, probably.
Always two there are. No more,
Maybe.
no less stuff.
What's that?
Wouldn't that be a little too convenient?
Well,
no.
Well, that's what they do. Like at the end of freaking
What's
Obi-Wan.
wrong with
It's like, Leia, remember, this whole experience we had is just this little secret between the two of us. Like, okay. Like, you know, like, whatever. Like, just let them do whatever the hell they want at this point.
That's right, Cliff. Let them do whatever they want because I
I'm keeping
love
a
it.
tally of Cliff rants. We're at 1 now.
Oh, we haven't even got started.
We're not even there yet.
He's being nice. I said, listen, I was worried that I was going to get yelled at today, so we'll see.
It's
Time
the
was-
it's
still
last-
time.
It's the last day of Pride Month. I'm really trying my best.
Plus, he still got a hat on. So once he take the hat off, you know it's a wrap.
Oh,
Actually,
sorry about that.
Chocolate Cliff is much
Um,
worse. Chocolate Cliff
Yo,
is way worse.
The
Yo!
box office, Inside Out, with only a 43% drop, making 57 million.
How
They're-
cool the bill is it now?
They are past the
It is
billion
over.
in 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
They are past the billion. Whew. It is the biggest movie
it's
of
just-
the
it's-
year.
It's not open in all the foreign markets, right? There's still a few to open.
I don't know. I think they've opened most of the places they were going to open.
Okay, I was gonna say because I mean, if it's not open everywhere, that's still gonna go up some. I mean, it's gonna go up anyway, but like,
And like a
it's still-
good indication that this is a good movie that people are going back to see is when the international and the
Yes.
domestic kind of mirror each other. When they're
Yes.
kind of even, it's like, okay, this is a good movie. Because sometimes international movies will be like 800 million and the domestic will be like 100 million, 115, just because they like a different kind of movie than
well,
say we like a movie.
those Fast and the Furious movies always do.
Yeah.
They do well here, but they probably make twice as much internationally.
Oh,
I haven't
won't
seen a
mention that
Fast
movie.
and Furious movie after Fast 5. Not gonna lie.
We
You're not missing
we
out.
should watch all
Wait,
those.
is that the one where they steal the safe?
5 is the safe.
Then yeah, that's the last one I've seen.
And they talk about they reference 5 in the last one in 10.
All the Fast and Furious is going to be on Tubi starting tomorrow.
Nice.
Oh,
Tubi is it's a great platform right there for free.
Mhm.
A Quiet Place, day one, creeping up right behind it though,
Yeah.
50 million.
I want to see that.
Me
I'd
too.
like to see it. I didn't get to
I
it
would-
this weekend.
I have watched no A Quiet Place movies yet.
Oh, you should watch.
What?
Oh,
Oh, you should
God.
watch it.
Yeah,
I'm not a horror guy because I like to sleep at night, and these ones are nice because it's not like just gory whatever and supernatural. It's scary, but it's more of a suspense kind of psychological
Horror that has a little bit of sci-fi.
and some sci-fi.
I have horror stuff all around me because my fiance is a horror podcaster. So I watch a ton of horror films, even if I don't want to. Even at night when we go to sleep, I will wake up to like Jason or Chucky on the TV.
wait!
Oh,
I want to
jeez.
know. Wait! I want to know. I want to know the deeper meaning of this, Bizzle. Does that mean on the other side of where you're sitting, it's just like all horror, and that's like her backdrop, and this is like your comic backdrop?
Yeah, absolutely.
Put the camera the other way.
Right?
No, I want to do a
here,
tour.
comic land. Over here,
I want
horror
to do
world.
I want to do a tour one day of this room. I just got to get everything situated first.
Oh my god!
Quiet Place movies are like good. The first two, they never filmed around here. Like, you know, one of them's on like a trail. I watch it like, you know, I point it like, oh, I rode my bike there.
They
Is that right?
filmed in Nature's not Nature's Pantry. In I think it's the Beacon Natural Market.
Is that right?
Okay,
Yeah, and on
Yeah,
one
they-
of the bridges over here. Yeah.
like the Wallkill Valley Rail Trail. Like,
Yes.
Yep.
All right. Horizon, an American Saga, Chapter 1, came in
I
at
wanna
third
s-
place.
I want to see that, but it looks like
Mm.
they're. I mean, obviously because it's got Kevin Costner, it's a western that they're trying to.
Oh, is that what it
the
is?
popularity of what's it, Yellowstone?
Yeah.
Ah,
I mean, it's not the
Okay.
same
Got it.
story, completely different, but it looks like they're going, well, that's popular. If we put one of these out right now, it'll make money.
Yeah.
yeah, they're trying to bring
Chapter
back
one.
the Western movies.
Western movies are
They're good.
there's some really good ones. There's some
Yeah.
awful ones, but there are some really good ones. There's
Yeah.
a really good one. What the heck is it called? It takes place in the Australian outback,
Mhm.
and I'll have to look it up. It's amazing. It's so good. It's got,
Yeah.
Mad Max? No, let me stop.
No, it's a western. It's like what you know. Who's the Guy Pearce is the main villain in it.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Really good.
My favorite Western are the Young Guns movies.
Mine is Tombstone.
Tombstone's great.
Tombstone's
I'm with
great.
you. Tombstone's my favorite.
Tombstone's
I
great.
think,
I'll be your Huckleberry.
I also like Unforgiven.
Unforgiven is
I
Yeah.
go back. So I like the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the
Oh, yeah.
$50.
Yeah.
For like a few
Will you
dollars
guys
more.
judge me if I say I
310.
don't think
The
I've ever
original,
seen-
the original 310 to Yuma is pretty good.
What'd
Yeah.
you say, Kamaria?
I said, will you guys judge me if I tell you that I don't think I've ever seen a Western?
You've
What?
never watched a Western? Oh, see, now we're going to put one on the
So
list.
you've watched a western, I promise you, but it wasn't in the Wild West. There's a lot of movies that they've tweaked and made into something current, but it's a Western theme.
Mm-hmm.
If you can think of any, let me know.
I will.
Bad Boys Ride or
Well,
Die
if you
comes in.
did you watch Mandalorian?
That's a Western.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first season is a Western.
Yeah.
In
I've
space.
seen a Western.
Number 4, we got Bad Boys Ride or Die, dropping only 45%, collecting 10 million.
Like I said, it's a good movie. It's a good movie.
What about
I hate the villain.
Kaliki 2898 AD?
Is that an anime? No.
Oh, this is an international movie.
Indian?
Indian, yes.
I would think so.
Well, actually sounds interesting.
Yeah.
They have a lot of really decent movies out on Netflix now.
Yeah.
Like they are channeling their money.
Listen,
100%.
once their production started matching ours over here, it's just a matter of getting good storytellers.
Hey.
You know what I mean?
I heard everybody was using VPN so they can watch Netflix Japan and all these other places. They're like, we might as well start putting them on universally.
I tried doing that, but it didn't work.
Bollywood got some good movies. I'm telling you.
Bollywood. The Bike Riders comes in at number 6. Garfield the movie, number 7. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes still in there. Number 8.
Man, it's been there for like a long time now. I feel like 10 weeks or so. Like when did that come out?
Hasn't broken 400.
May 10.
The
May
movie's
10.
actually good.
Yeah.
For $3.89, like that's that's nothing to
I
shy
feel like
away
it's a
from that
good
movie.
number. I feel like it's a good
that's
number. Yeah. Jat and Juliet. Anybody know anything about that?
No.
Made the top 10.
Three?
Made the
Jack-
top
There's
10.
3?
Oh, two
Indian-
police officers
Indian.
from Punjab traveled to London on a mission.
Okay.
So we're getting a lot of internationals coming in.
Yeah.
That's great. I'd love to see that. Okay, and then we always look at the last one. And A Violent Nature comes in at number 27, making $2,800. It's made about $4 million.
My eyes go straight to Escape from Germany.
Wait, what's in A Violent Nature too? Like both of those.
Escape from Germany. Hitler's army was closing borders, and 85 American missionaries were in Germany serving their church. The escape of these missionaries from Nazi Germany is one of the most dramatic events to occur in modern church history. Huh. Interesting.
So I looked up that Western I was talking about. It's called The Proposition, and I now remember the plot. The plot is there's a gang of thieves, and they catch 2 of them. There's 3 brothers, and they catch the younger 2, and the sheriff tells the middle brother, "You got to go kill your older brother. I'm hanging your younger brother." That's the opening of the movie. And it's a Western.
Jeez.
It's good though. It's so good.
Jeez.
The Quentin Tarantino one, Django Unchained.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess that's it's probably Western. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's definitely
Western. It's definitely one.
It's
The
a
Quentin
German story,
Tarantino,
so
the
there's
other
always
one
gonna
he
be a
did
mountain
was
or
also
something.
good too. What was the
Hateful Eight?
Yes, the Hateful Eight. That was a
Yeah.
good one too. All right, so that's the box office, ladies and gentlemen. Box office doing good on its move up to Deadpool Wolverine weekend.
First $1 billion movie.
It's gonna be a big weekend. It's gonna be a big weekend that weekend. They released
You said
another
first $1
teaser
billion?
for it. No.
Yeah.
First,
No, he's talking
No.
about Phil.
Inside Out is already past
Yeah,
the billion.
Inside Out just went over $1 billion.
Yeah, we got our first $1 billion movie.
Oh, okay.
We got
I
our
thought you were
first billion,
saying-
yeah.
I thought you were saying Wolverine or Deadpool Wolverine.
Listen, depending on
No,
how
we got-
good Deadpool and Wolverine is, that could be a 2-biller. Depending on how good it is.
Yeah.
Dependent. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So it's that time. Your homework for this week. Phil's choice.
I'm
His
ready.
trilogy.
Right there.
The Hunger Games. Real quick, the Hunger Games. Katniss Everdeen voluntarily takes her younger sister's place in the Hunger Games, a televised competition in which 2 teenagers from each 12 districts of Panem are chosen at random to fight to the death. This is a little quote from Susan Collins. In a dystopian future, the totalitarian nation of Panem is divided into 12 districts in the capital. Each year, 2 young representatives from each district are selected by lottery to participate in the Hunger Games. Part entertainment, part brutal retribution for a past rebellion. The television games are broadcast throughout Panem. The 24 participants are forced to eliminate their competitors, while the citizens of Panem are required to watch. When 16-year-old Katniss' young sister Prim is selected as District 12's female representative, Katniss volunteers to take her place, and she and her male counterpart, Peeta, are pitted against bigger, stronger representatives, some of whom have trained for this their whole lives.
Well, except for District 1, right? District 1 is the one where they select every time. Or they always
Ones
volunteer.
are mostly they're
They
mostly
volunteer.
volunteers. 1 and 2.
Yeah.
One,
So
two,
they like
1 and 2, you're right.
they train like their champions to do it. So
Right.
they train them as champions, like Olympians or something.
Right.
Oh.
Wasn't there a thing going around too when these
All
movies
right,
first came out?
let's
That,
get some.
I love penis.
what?
Don't you remember that? It was they combined
Peeta and
and
Katniss.
Katniss, and it was
Oh, the version is
You should-
Everlark. That's the ship's name. Everlark. His last name is Malark. Hers is Everdeen. Let's go with Everlark, please.
Yeah, Grisha, you should have led with that explanation first.
Unfortunately, the only thing I remember about this movie at the time of the release was the bigotry and racism. So that was rough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
It was like it was
Wait.
like-
You expand on that. What do you mean?
Yeah.
because Joe, so I went to go see this in the movie theater with my friends, and I was like going through my phone on Twitter, and on Twitter, it was like, I didn't expect Rue to be black. Is it okay that I didn't cry when Rue died? And I was like, what? Yo,
Yeah.
and I was like, and that was like a whole thing. That was like a whole weekend thing. And I was so mad. And I was still pissed off about the Mark Anthony All-Star baseball game thing, because I was like, oh, I see racism's back. And then this happened. I was like, oh, I see racism never died. It was a dark time back then. A dark time.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yes,
that
it
was-
was.
And then it got a little darker, and here we are.
True.
Quick footnote. Kamaria sent me this. In a video interview made for her publisher Scholastic, Collins says that the idea came to her when she was channel surfing one night in bed.
and watch
I-
Running Man.
Quote, I was very tired and I was flipping through images on reality television where these young people were competing for $1 million or whatever. Then I was seeing footage from the Iraq war, and these two things began to fuse together in a very unsettling way. And that is the moment where I got the idea for Katniss' story.
This is fully the Running Man with children.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's the same.
Yeah, but I
same
mean,
premise.
I don't know. I feel if you read the book, there's way more going on that she channeled in. Like and I mean, you see sparks of what she was writing about in the movie, but really, there's a lot of Roman gladiatorial, like
Yeah.
shit. Like that's like a big part of the writing.
I don't dispute that. I'm talking
Yeah.
because I haven't read the books. I'm going just off the movie.
Right, exactly. But I'm saying, but the movie is a movie, and I feel like of course the movie's got. It doesn't literally have the Running Man vibe, but like the theme is watered down to Running Man style, I guess. But I'm like, if you read the book, you could see that she put like real deep world building in the book
We did
and
a
told her.
lot of research for this book, especially when it comes to like the characters' names too. I looked it up too because I'm like, I wonder. A lot of Roman. She pulled a lot from like Roman stories too. For Katniss, we all know. Well, actually, we don't know if you didn't see the newest one, but it's an edible fruit plant. But there was one of them. I think it's Seneca Crane. You know what? I'm gonna pause this one. When we get to talking about him, then I'll put this little anecdote in. But she definitely does pull from a lot of Greek, Roman, even Shakespeare for some of her inspiration.
So I'll say this about the story. one of the things that I've been saying with a bunch of the movies we've been watching lately is the plot is fairly good but falls apart. This one is fairly linear. You can follow what's going on, but there's a lot of, like I said, having not read the books, I feel like there's little things I'm like, well, I kind of get what's going on here, but I feel like you explained it in the book, but it would take 20 minutes to show that on screen, so you just kind of gloss over it. Like did they explain the whole rebellion/war before all this happens in the book? Because you don't fully get exactly what happened, other than there was.
You don't get an explanation really about the rebellion until you get to the last book.
Okay,
they gloss over it in the first one, a little bit in the second one, just to get you prepared for what's going to happen. But you don't really get much into the actual story of the rebellion until book 3.
Okay, because I mean, it feels like you need to know exactly what happened, but the way they present it on screen is like, well, of course you know what happened. So this is the result. Well, I don't know why we got here, but it's fine. I can still follow it. And then some of the stuff, once they're actually in the arena, the fight scenes are good, but some of the interplay between the characters, I feel like you don't get enough. Whereas if I was reading in a book, you'd get inner monologue and all that stuff, so it would explain a lot. So it's like, I get it, but it's not fleshed out.
Yeah, I will say the Hunger Games as a whole, the whole series, is one of those things that if you really want to get all the context and fully understand, you have to watch it with somebody who has read the books, so that you can, or be someone that has read the books, so you can ask questions, because there's a lot of the gaps that are filled. And there's a more of an intensity in the book than there is in the movies.
I own the books. I just haven't sat down to read them.
I think it is like, that is a good point. I think it is one of those movies that, like, if you read the book, you like the movie a whole lot, like, more than like somebody who, and that's usually not like, than somebody who just went in like blind because like everybody was talking about the book. So I'll just wait for the movie.
Right. Yeah, I want to say I saw the movie without having read the book first, and I thought the movie was great. Because like all the subtext was very clear. And I'm like, okay, I get this, I'm down. And then, of course, the rest of the movies would go on to disappoint me horribly.
I saw.
Don't say that, Cliff.
Also read the book, and we were constantly like, they left this out, they left that out, they cut out that character. Didn't this happen? Where's the entire time? There's so much.
Whereas in the reverse for me, I was like, oh, this is neat. Oh, that's cool. And then I kept reading, and then the movies were coming out, and I'm like, why did you take everything I enjoyed away from me? Go
through the. Could you go through the photos, Sam?
Photos?
Yeah, scroll down and hit the. They got photos.
I also feel like you read the synopsis, but we need to talk about what the movie. Let's go through the movie. How did
I don't know if it's fully planned or they just for a movie you want to go over the top, but the people who are running it, who are the elites, the character design is wild. It is so out there.
Oh, man.
And I think the plan is to show how decadent they are.
Yes.
As opposed to how these other people are struggling, because that fully comes off, but some of it's like, wow. This is like the dude. What's his name? Yeah. That's the producer of the actual show. His beard is, what the heck is going on?
I rewatched it yesterday, and I just thought about how in the books, the way it's described, I imagined it to be even more extravagant because it was like actual swirls.
Okay.
It's kind of hard to replicate in real life. You have to have like a lot of patience and a very steady hand. But like it was almost supposed to be like spirals where it's like it comes to little points. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll tell you who does knock it out of the park though, and I usually like him and stuff, is Stanley Tucci's amazing in this movie.
I love
for the 10 minutes he's on screen, he's great.
Oh, what about I like Woody Harrelson. Woody
Harrelson's great too, and I'm hit or miss with him, but he's good in this too.
He was as a book first, movies after. I will say I think that the Effie Trinket was good casting.
Yeah, she fought for that. I want you to know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, amazing.
I know. I think Caesar Flickerman is just Stanley Tucci. Donald Sutherland as President Snow was great casting.
Amazing.
Like when I saw it, I was like, oh yes.
He's the
what-
most tame of those people though. Like I
True.
feel like he should have had like crazy, like wispy long eyebrows
Yeah.
or something, because he's so tame compared.
Well, I mean, he
Yeah,
has.
but the more you get to know him, the more you'll understand.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
And you know what this book leaves out too, which I wasn't quite a fan of, is you get to know Caesar Flickerman, I feel like, better in the books than you do in the movies. Obviously, they don't have as much time, but Katniss and him kind of have a rapport. I don't want to say a relationship, but they do have a rapport that makes you kind of like him, even though he's like with the enemy.
Right.
But I just feel like you didn't quite.
Well, I was gonna say, like in the book, like or in the second book or whatever. Remember, he's got her in his office, and he's like, I've never lied to you," and I'm like, "Oh my goodness."
Oh, yeah, about Snow.
Oh, that was Snow. I'm sorry. You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah. I mean,
I feel like Flickerman wouldn't lie to her either.
you know, he absolutely would.
Who is this? That's Philip Seymour Hoffman. Is that Flickerman?
Oh yeah, that's Plutarch Heavensbee. We meet him in book
Yeah, he's not in this one. Yeah.
or movie 2. Excuse me, sorry, I forgot we're talking about movies.
And so Peter's claim to fame or is that he can throw bags of flour. Ooh.
That's according to Katniss.
Like, come on.
I mean, he was strong. That's what his thing was.
I
He's
mean,
strong.
Yeah, but come on, like you could have said.
She was just annoyed. So again, in the books, she is annoyed because they're talking about, do you have anything to offer? And in District 12, the fact that she could hunt, the fact that she can use a bow and arrow is supposed to be a secret because you're not supposed to leave the confines of District 12.
Okay.
So when Peeta says, "Oh, Katniss is great with the bow. She's like better than good. She's downplaying it. My dad buys her squirrels and she shoots them in the eye every single time." She's like, "Dude, are you kidding me? Like, you're trying to get me, even though they're already on their way to the Hunger Games.
Right.
Like, you're trying to get me killed. Like, this is I'm supposed to know this." And then she says, "They're gonna target me for this, so I might as well put the target back on him." Peeta's super
Right. You're like,
strong.
he's really strong. Did you know that?
Well, how about the fact that they picked the two, right? And I don't, obviously we don't see this district. They picked the two. Oh, Hemsworth, of course. And can I say Lenny Kravitz is great in this for little time?
Yes.
Oh, Lenny Kravitz.
Yes.
Yeah.
They pick the two,
Underrated
and then you
actor.
take them away to train them, but you basically fatten them up with the worst food that you could be eating right before you're going to be out in the middle of nowhere surviving.
I have a book clip. They do that because in the books, Katniss is literally starving to death. She is super thin. She's malnourished.
But you don't just
she ends up
shove
selling.
food down her throat. That's not good
Yeah,
for
well,
you.
they wanted her to gain weight so that she wouldn't immediately die of hypothermia and that she'd actually last more than a couple seconds in the games because she was near, like, when I tell you, knocking on death's door when they brought her in. Yeah. Peter had a little bit more. His family, they owned a bakery, so they were like, kind of like the middle class.
Yeah, he had access to carbs.
Yeah, right?
Oh, and let's not forget Peter's other skill, ladies and gentlemen. His amazing design paint skill.
Oh, his artistry.
Oh, right.
Yeah, no, he had two great skills.
I don't
Listen, when I first read this book, literally the first couple chapters when Katniss, it opens with her talking about her sister has a nightmare that she's going to, I think she makes a comment about how the other side of the bed is cold because her and her sister share a bed. And her sister got up to go into her mom's bed because she had a nightmare that her name was picked in the reaping, even though it was her first reaping ever and her name was only in there once, which they don't touch on. But in the books, they explain that in order to get, I think they call it tesserae, in order to get, food, you can put your name in the bowl more times.
Oh, no, she says that. Remember
Yeah,
when she's leaving, she says to the sister, "Don't take more food because they'll put you in more."
Yeah.
As soon as make sure you and that she says to somebody, she says to Liam Hemsworth, make sure they don't starve.
Yeah. As soon as she had that nightmare, I was like, oh, she's getting picked. They're pulling her name for sure. This is not
now.
I know, she's getting
Has he been picked before? Because I got the feeling that he was picked, but he didn't go.
You mean Gale?
I guess I don't know I can't remember his name.
Well, Liam Hemsworth's character.
Yeah.
Yeah, so his name was in the bowl 42 times because he took out.
Oh, but he just didn't get picked.
But he just never got picked.
Okay, now
and when you turn 18, you're out of the reaping and you go work in the mines.
Right. Okay.
So he just happened to, how I don't know, but he happened to never get picked.
Well, The odds were ever in his favor.
Yeah.
Rue. That's one of the saddest moments in the movie right there.
You knew that was coming, though.
I knew she wasn't going to be able to survive. Yeah, you know she's not going to be able to survive that. But like how she went out was just
if you're with the main character in a movie like this and you befriend the main character, you're gonna die.
Yeah, it's richer energy.
Die. And if you're the love interest, you might still die.
Yeah.
If I can
I like
touch
she
on,
stole the knife and she was like up on the ceiling, like
yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah. And I love how like at that moment they show Thresh just smiling up at her and shaking his head because they had a pretty good relationship, the two of them, and it was sad they had to go into the games together. Very unfortunate.
Yeah.
But if I can touch
I definitely feel he would have been the other person that would have tried to protect her.
Yes, and he was trying to do that.
Yeah.
What was it you wanted to touch upon? Come on.
Oh, how we were talking about Rue's death in this, and there's a theme throughout the Hunger Games once we establish who Katniss becomes to the people, where people are willing to sacrifice themselves for Katniss. They know that they may not necessarily be the one to make it through or be the person that's going to spark or be the catalyst for this rebellion, but they know that Katniss will, so they help her along the way. And after seeing Catching Fire, which we'll talk about later, there's a trend of people helping Katniss to get where she needs to go, and I feel like Rue's death was kind of the first step in that trend, where I think Rue knew she was not going to make it to the end of these games, but she knew that Katniss could. So in lighting those fires and using the Mockingjays' whistle to communicate to each other while Katniss blew up the food, she knew I may not be able to win these games, but I know this girl can, and I'm going to help her in any way I can. Even though she's only 12, I'm sure she wanted to survive herself, but I think that she saw in Katniss that, like, winners, what that thing that winners have, that, like, the gift. She saw that, and I think she was, at the end of the day, did she want to die? No, but I think she was content with the fact that she helped Katniss, because her last words were, well, she said, "You have to win."
Yeah.
And then her last words were, "Can you sing?"
Well, I got a quick question. Is when Rue mentions about the Mockingjays, is that the first time like Katniss has ever heard Mockingjays and stuff like that?
So there are Mockingjays in District 12, and I think she kind of knows of them, but she doesn't really.
That's her first real encounter with them.
The
basically.
pin that she gets in the movie, she gets it from a character named Greasy Say in the Hob, which is like the District 12 black market. In the book, she gets it from the mayor's daughter, whose name is Madge Undersea. Her and Katniss are really good friends because they were kind of loners in school together, so they ended up forming a relationship. So she knows about Mockingjays through Madge, who says, like, this will protect you, and Greasy Say in the movie, who says, like, it's a Mockingjay, but doesn't explain it more than that. And then Rue comes in and says, "Oh, I see your pin. Let's use the Mockingjays to communicate. This is what they do. They mimic." And then she does the whistle.
I like the shots that they did, like when she was holding her when she was dying. They would show Katniss's like knuckles and all the other stuff, kind of like letting the people know, like, yeah, she's the one that helped her heal up, and now she's dying and all that stuff. I thought that was real. And then what Katniss was trying to like rub off the scabs or whatever. I guess they were reminding her of her or whatever, but I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, how about she wakes up from the bees and she's like, "How long have I been out?" And she's like, "Oh, 3-4 days." I'm like, 3 or 4 days?
She said 2 days. I was like, 2 days?
I'm like,
that's
a
crazy.
long time.
And then like, yeah, those things, they do have like hallucinogenic. So like Katniss was like tripping balls when she ran back to that dead girl for like the bow.
Just right.
And it's funny because I was saying to Sam, look how she thinks she's running so far, but she's only ever ran a few steps because she's still at Glimmer with the bow, who was directly under the tree.
Yeah.
Thought she ran like a mile, but then she only went a few steps.
I also love when she's up there cutting that branch. I'm like, you could do that a little bit faster and maybe use a smaller knife.
I mean, I don't think she had a selection of knives.
Yeah,
I
she
know,
didn't
but
have a
it's like-
selection of knives. Like,
And the bees were like kind of like stinging the crap out of her. So
Exactly.
And
So that's what I'm saying, go
everything
faster.
is
She's like
everything
taking
is
her time.
artificially generated. It's insane. It's like the, what do you call it? It's the holodeck from Star Trek on steroids.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, do you want to be chased by dogs with the faces of everybody who was murdered on this adventure? It's like,
Right,
no.
And it's so sad that basically Rue saves Katniss's life with those leaves, ultimately to die soon after. And Katniss's first like big, or I guess her first moment of real rebellion, aside from like volunteering for her sister, that we can't really count that because she was trying to save her sister's life.
Yep.
But her first act of real rebellion is putting those flowers around Rue so that, because she knew that the claws and the hovercrafts that come to get them, they film grabbing the tributes. So she knew that they were going to get a shot of Rue from above. So she surrounded her with the flowers to give her a burial she knew she wasn't going to get and give her respect. Then to turn around and eye the Capitol and eye the cameras and give that salute to her district and to
Well, but I mean, like, that's what Rue's death is so important for the entire series. This is when Katniss becomes Katniss. You know? That's the moment. That's the trigger. Every moment up until now, Katniss is like, protect my sister, survive. And that's all that's going on in her mind, right? And then that's the trigger of like, fuck the Capitol. And then that's it.
Rue, and Rue reminds her of her sister, and she's like, I have to save this girl. I would, if my sister were in this arena, I'd want someone to do this for her.
So I know it's a movie, and we have to build suspense, right? But through the whole thing, they're constantly trying to cram down your throat that she's basically Robin Hood with this bow. But anytime she needs to do something important, she misses like twice and then hits whatever she's supposed to hit. So when she does the thing with the apples, she misses and then hits it. When she's in the arena to show how good she is, she misses and then hits that apple out of the
she's not used to catapult bows. Hers is made out of wood that her and her dad made when she was a girl. Those catapults are heavy.
Come on.
In the scene where she's showing off, she only missed one shot. Because remember, she got the second one dead on target, but nobody was paying attention.
She's supposed to be
but
Robin
she does
Hood
remark.
like character. She doesn't
remarks
miss.
in the book that she said that she wasn't used to the balancing of the capital bow because it was so weird and it was metal and it was so she missed the first one. And then in the
that's the thing.
That's a very real thing.
Okay.
She's malnourished upon arrival. The weight of the bow and everything she's not used to.
Every other time you see her shoot a bow, she drills it.
Okay, but I'm just saying the flaw of the movie is not the flaw of the story. The flaw of the movie would have been nice to mention.
I'm basing this on what I've seen because I've not read the book.
Ted Nugent said, like, her form, though, with the bow for this movie was on point for how you shoot a bow and everything.
Yeah, I'll give him that.
She's doing a lot of training.
Well, and they constantly show her, breathing out and pausing before shooting, which is exactly what you need to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
What are our thoughts about
10 minutes?
What are our thoughts about the end?
I love the end. I mean, this was a
Well,
nice.
the Capitol changes up the rules
twice.
Twice.
Yeah.
They say, "Oh, now if you're from the same district, we can have two winners." And then they end up being the last two, Peeta and her. And they're like, "No, now you got to fight and kill each other." But Katniss is like, this is where I was talking with Kamari. I was like, she knows they need a winner.
Yes. And
Right,
that's
so that's what she's like. Trust me on this. And as soon as you try to go eat the thing, they're like, no. All right, you're good. You're winners. You're both winners.
Before that, they had fought the girl.
They break the game. Is kind of what they did.
Yeah.
They broke the game on that ending. So.
And she got the idea from that poor girl who ate the berries, but while Peeta was knowingly. And people are rumored that was intentional because they see her weeding out poisonous plants in training.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
However, I will say in the book that Katniss does mention when Peeta collects the Nightlock berries that they didn't go over that in training. So it's possible that she did not know.
That Fox was a fox face. She made it through the whole thing basically.
Yeah,
it was the berries that took her out, but she wasn't gonna last against.
She was just too good at hiding, which is interesting because she has the brightest hair out of anybody in there and somehow blended in with all of the green around her.
All the green.
Well, I thought she put mud in her hair in the book to kind of like, cast herself out.
She was very resourceful. I don't really remember that well. But how about at the end with the berries and they reneged their initial taking away of the, 2 people can win. Just kidding. Wait, just kidding again. 2 people can win again. When they make Seneca Crane eat the berries.
at the end. Like,
Yeah.
like President Snow leaves him the bowl full of berries because that's what broke his game. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
this
been
is-
like, yo, you're gonna have to kill me, shoot me something. I ain't gonna eat no berries and die.
this is where I wanted to talk about Seneca Crane because the name there's like name symbolism in this book. And for Seneca Crane, the name Seneca comes from a Roman philosopher who was forced by the emperor at the time to take his own life because he conspired to take the emperor's life. So it's like a Roman story. And then Katniss too, she's an edible plant, but at one point I'm pretty sure her dad tells her if you can find Katniss, you'll never go, like if you can find yourself, you'll never go hungry, because he's teaching her how to forage. But the name Katniss, like the Latin name for it, starts with Sagittaria, and the Sagittarius constellation is the Archer.
Yep.
Nice. Very, very nice. The movie ends with them being declared the victors. They're brought on TV. They're talking about it.
Well,
And-
more importantly, they're coached before they get on TV.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Because they're like, you've got to sell the concept of your love story so it doesn't make the district look so bad.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, yeah. And Snow is watching all this, and the last shot is of him just walking up the stairs and going, which is going to lead into part 2. Snow was very like, he saw the spark. Like, he told Seneca Crane, and he was like, well, if you see the spark, contain it.
Right.
Contain it. You know
What's
what
the
I
other line that he says to the
oh, that's not about I hate the
hope is more
underdog.
dangerous than
mean?
fear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it? Hope is more dangerous than fear, but too much hope is bad.
Yeah.
I like when Seneca Crane goes, everyone likes an underdog, and he's like, I don't.
Yeah.
He's like, I have experience with underdogs. Nope.
Yeah. Coriolanus comes from, I have another name. Coriolanus comes from a Shakespeare tragedy in which a Roman general had a preference for centralized power and withheld food from the common people because he hated them and thought of them as lesser. The people eventually rebelled and casted him out of his seat of power. That's where the name Coriolanus comes from.
Very fitting name for Mr.
Right?
Snow. Very fitting. No spoilers. All right, so that's the Hunger Games. Great movie. Let's get to our rankings of the Hunger Games. We'll start with Cliff. Cliff, you go first.
8.5.
8.5 from Cliff. All right. C Bizzle.
So, side note, this is my first time watching the Hunger Games. I watched this. I've never watched any of the Harry Potter movies ever. Yes. So I watch Hunger Games before I watch Harry Potter. So with that being said, I love the set pieces in this movie. It's gorgeous. I love the costumes everybody wore. Everything was beautiful. I'm a vision person. I love this. I'm gonna give it a solid 9.
Wow.
Okay. Got an 8.5 and a 9, ladies and gentlemen. Phil.
You know what? I think it's one of those things that this would be an 8 if you didn't read the books. It would probably still be a solid 8. But if you read the books, you were very happy with the adaptation that you got. And watching it last night again, I was just like, yeah, this is great. I had a lot of fun. I'm also giving it a 9.
Okay, 1.85, 2 9s. Green shirt guy.
Okay, I'm with C Bizzle. I love the set design, the costumes, all that. I think there's some good world building stuff in it, having not read the books. The plot kind of dips for me once they get into the actual arena. I just don't think there's enough there, and some of the relationships feel forced more than organic, and it just kind of, I just feel like there's not enough explanation, and we don't know what they're thinking. Whereas if I read the book, I'm sure that's all explained. So I think the first hour, because this movie's like 2.5 hours long, I think the first hour is pretty good. The next hour is kind of weak, and the last 20 minutes is strong. So I'm going to give it a 7.5.
Right, 7.5. Kamaria.
I am caught between a rock and a hard place because the nostalgia from my teens, how hard I went for this series. But I will say, if I were rating the book, I would probably give like 9.75. It was so good, but without the context of the book, I do say I understand why some of you guys think it's a little bit lacking. So I'm gonna go down to like I'm gonna one up C Bizzle and Phil and do a 9.25.
9.25. 9.25.
Our first quarter.
I'm gonna give it a 9. I thought before when I first used to watch them, I was like, oh, it's okay. After watching it a couple times, I'm like, this is a pretty good movie.
And me and you're here giving you
Yeah,
unwanted
this is a pretty good movie. So I'm gonna give it a 9. Kind of averages out to like an 8.5 or 8.7 for everybody, which is great. If you haven't seen The Hunger Games, you should go check it out. Next week is Hunger Games 2. It's not called Hunger Games 2. It's called Catching Fire.
I'll be back.
So
did you notice that I didn't say this week? Well, this didn't make any sense. Usually, there's something in the plot. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. This, at least the plot is consistent.
Yeah.
I'm so proud right now.
Don't worry, you're gonna feel real good in the first movie, and then the decline is gonna start happening real bad.
So am I gonna go below a 7? Is what you're saying, Cliff?
I don't even know.
I don't think
I'm gonna be unhappy as we move forward.
I don't think you're gonna fall below 7 with this series.
We'll see. You guys always surprise me, so
I mean, but I like the last Blade movie more than all 3 of you guys. So who knows? Or 4 of you guys, I'm sorry, and Kamara. So who knows?
Yeah, I don't know what to expect. I from the rest of you, I know my expectations, and I know how they're not met. So,
all right, we shall see. All right, it's time to spin for that duck, that little ducky duck.
Duck, 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 duck.
All right, I'm going to give you 15 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. The answer to what district was Rue from is District 11. District 11, my friend. Give you 15 seconds.
Pops off when she dies.
Yeah,
that's the revolution starts right there.
Yes. All right, we got 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Draw. Round and round it goes. Where it lands, no one on the council knows, ladies and gentlemen. Who will win our second duck of the month? It is Brian LCS. Congratulations, Brian. Brian LCS is our second duck winner of the month. You're entered into the monthly contest, my friend. And for those of you that want to know when the next time you can get a duck, that will be tomorrow at 8 p.m., 5 p.m. Pacific for New Keys and Hot Comics of the Week, where we go over all the new books coming out, all the new keys, and we give you 3 chances to win ducks in our monthly giveaway, which we consider one of the best monthly giveaways in the field. So make sure you tune in tomorrow night at 8 p.m., 5 p.m. Pacific for New Keys and Hot Comics of the Week. Let's go into the comment section, and then we can get y'all out of here. We want to say thank you to everybody that tuned in tonight. Las Cruces 1971 came through today. Thank you, Las Cruces. Brian LCS got a duck. Thank you for coming through, Brian. Meatwad #1 was here. Thank you for being here, Meatwad. Strange Dog Comic Stuff. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Gary Woods, thank you for tuning in tonight. Random Rips, thank you for tuning in tonight. Phil's Treehouse, thank you for tuning in tonight. Kenneth Bird, thank you for tuning in tonight. Big L Larry Jackson came through. Thank you for tuning in. Comic Cap Collectibles came through tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Kingdom of Nerds came through. Thank you for tuning in. Black Spider, thank you for your chats. They're very, very, very great. I think Black Spider asked, how was the last Hunger Game movie? That was one of the there it is right here.
It's a 2-parter, right?
No, it was one.
I actually got to read the book. I got to read the book.
The Hunger Games series, or are we talking about the most recent?
No, he meant the most recent movie.
The new Hunger Game movie, yeah.
Oh no, I'm talking.
It was excellent. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes was excellent.
It's one of my favorites. I enjoyed it very, very much.
Very long.
I enjoyed it very, very much. Who else is in the house? That's it, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So that's our show. Make sure you tune in tomorrow night, 8 p.m., 5 p.m. Pacific for New Keys Hot Comics of the Week. Make sure you tune in on Wednesday, 8 p.m., 5 p.m. Pacific for New Comic Book Day Live. And make sure you are back here next Sunday at 5 p.m., 2 p.m. Pacific. We're going over Hunger Games Catching Fire. That is your homework, ladies and gentlemen. So please remember to like and subscribe. Council of Comics, Cliff on Comics, Couching and Slouching with C. Bizzle. And so for myself, for Cliff, for C. Bizzle, for Phil, for Green Shirt Guy, for Kamaria, and the rest of the Council of Comics, we love you. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time. Peace.
Black is like the brightest day. Where are the heroes?